Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students, friends, and listeners. It is part 7 of our lecture series Diplomacy in International Relations. In our previous video, we discussed the contribution of Congress of Vienna and Concert of Europe towards the development of modern day diplomacy, and we concluded that Congress of Vienna and Concert of Europe was one of the first displays of multilateral diplomacy. Why was it the first display of multilateral diplomacy? Because uh, there was not only the representatives of two states, rather there were the ambassadors, there were the representatives of different European monarchies. So that's why it can be said that it was one of the first displays of multilateral diplomacy. And in the other words, we can say that in 19th century, in the first you may say in the second decade of the 19th century, the rise of multilateral diplomacy can be seen. But the purpose of the Concert of Europe and Congress of Vienna was fairly successful, but only till 1914, because in 1914 the First World War broke out. That was ended in 1918, and when this World War One broke out, it was taken to be a defeat of diplomatic efforts. But keep remember this thing that in international relations, no state, either war or peace, is ever in its perpetual continuum. Uh, Sometime there is peace and sometime there is war. So when First World War ended in 1918, there is a rise in diplomatic efforts, so that the world couldn't wouldn't see the huge consequences of another massive conflict, another massive war. But it is essential to discuss the various elements, the various factors that led to the departure from the traditional practice of diplomacy. What is meant by traditional practice of diplomacy means bilateral diplomacy, because now the focus now moved away from the king, the elite, and even Europe. Because when we were discussing the Congress of Vienna, we discussed that during the 19th century there was a growth of colonization. And what is colonization? Because many European monarchies started to make different African and Asian regions as their colonies. So in this context of colonizer and colonized, there was not an equal relationship. So that's why the scope of diplomacy remains very limited in the context of Africa and Asia. But after at the end of World War One, the focus now moved away from the king, the elite, and even Europe, and bilateral diplomacy took a backseat and gave way to multilateral diplomacy, and more actors were supposed to be engaged in peacemaking efforts, in peacekeeping efforts. So, and the need for a new form of diplomacy, which we are saying as multilateral diplomacy, was driven by a few factors, by a few changes which happened in the society. And what is the first and the most important reason would be the increasing influence of democratic ideals, because in that particular period there was the present day most famous form of government, democracy, was becoming popular day by day, and the spread of democracy was on the rise, and this called for a more transparent system of diplomacy. Because if you remember the previous practices, we discussed that there was a tendency to keep the different negotiations confidential, because it was their point of view that any everything shouldn't reveal publicly, and everything shouldn't made public. But with the rising spread of democratic ideals, it became the need of the hour that diplomatic practices should be more transparent. And another important thing is that the deepening of economic relations, even and it's very interesting to discuss that when Germany was levied with a burden of reparations, war compensations, the USA continued to trade with all the nations to avoid the allegations of taking sides in a European politics. Hence, it was concluded that the higher the economic stakes, the lesser the chances of war between those states. So we may say that to avoid wars, it was felt that different states should engage with each other in terms of economy, because when the economic stakes, their economic interests would be interdependent on each other, they would feel reluctant, they would feel hesitant to wage war against each other. And accept these two changes in society, the outcome of the modern science took the form of weaponry, because the weapons which were being produced in 20th century, these weapons were very heavier on mankind than ever before, because the arms race were no precise. The arms which were being produced in 20th century, their size was very little, they were more precise, but they were more destructive. So we can say the stakes were no higher, because there was more need to avoid war by using different peaceful methods. And whenever we are talking about peaceful methods, it means we are talking about diplomacy, we are talking about negotiations, we are talking about table talks. And the final change we may conclude is that nation states were more willing to come together to serve their mutual interests in the international community. And there were certain other expectations from the diplomacy, because just we said that now the nature of the diplomacy was changed. Earlier it was a bilateral diplomacy, but now it has become a multilateral diplomacy. So what were the expectations from this new form of diplomacy? Number one, it was hoped that it would bring in a certain amount of transparency in the diplomatic exchanges, so that it is subject to scrutiny by the citizens. This was mainly due to the rise of the concept of democracy, which spoke highly of the involvement of the citizens in the governance of the state. Because whenever you are talking about democracy, it means you are talking about the huge involvement of the citizens. And when there is a huge involvement of the citizens, they may require transparency, they may require the right to know the different deals, the different agreements which were signed by the diplomats, by the ambassadors on behalf of that state. And what is other important thing is that the establishment of an organization with membership open to whoever wished to join was the need of the hour. Means to avoid war, it was felt that there should be a multilateral organization. And if a state, anyone, any political entity who wants to join that state can join. And this kind of multilateral diplomacy was expected to help overcome many obstacles, many hurdles, with minimum amount of disagreement and conflict. Because what is war? War is the name of disagreement, and when there would be an organization to overcome disagreements, it means there would be less chance of conflict, there would be a less chance of war. So, the League of Nations was established in 1920 in accordance with these expectations from multilateral diplomacy. And what was the primary objective of this League of Nations? Its primary aim was collective security and disarmament. But this League of Nations remained successful to obtain these objectives until the outbreak of Second World War in 1935. And not in 35, rather in 1939. We may say that the ultimate and the full-fledged objective of multilateral diplomacy was not succeeded, and after the end of Second World War, uh, uh, the obstacles, the weaknesses of the League of Nations were revived, were explored, and many new institutions with more regulated norms, with more regulated principles, were sought to introduce in the form of UN, which we are going to discuss in our next video. Take care. Allah Hafiz.